Hi everyone. I've been seeing a lot of discourse recently online about how Gen Z is like the most single generation of all time. And this pronouncement is almost always accompanied by some sort of doomerism about how, oh, we're all gonna die alone, we're all miserable chuds, stuff like that. But I actually think there are a lot of positive aspects to being single that we take for granted when we're constantly bemoaning how we're not in a romantic relationship. And that's why I wanted to make this video, is to discuss three of the things that I think are the best about being single. The first thing is that single people get to enjoy a much, much greater degree of independence than people in relationships do. And this comes from the fact that at a fundamental level, all romantic relationships are a compromise in which both parties have to sacrifice a great deal of their needs and their wants for the sake of making the partnership work. And, a lot of the time, if both people are on relatively the same page about where they want to go in life, this compromise works out fine. But I think a much greater amount of the time than most people want to admit, this process of compromise can have a really detrimental impact on the individuality of both people involved. And obviously, romantic relationships involve a lot of love and affection and support that you don't get being single, right? That's just not part of the deal. But let's say, I want to go out to the bar with my friends, I want to go on a trip overseas, and my, imaginary girlfriend in this case is jealous of me. She thinks I'm going to cheat, or she's like, oh, I want you to spend time with me and my family, blah, blah, blah. Then I can't go. I can't do any of those things that I want. And so, for those reasons, I think overall being single is better on that point. The second thing, which I think is very closely related to the first reason, is that you have so much more free time when you're single versus when you're in a relationship. Let's say you've had a long week at work, and on the weekend you want to unwind by doing something you enjoy, like going for a hike or playing in a sports league, or even learning a new skill like drawing or playing a musical instrument. But you've got this imaginary girlfriend in your house, and she's like, oh no, I want you to spend more time with me. I want you to do things with me. Nya, 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 nya. And you can't do any of those things. You can't do whatever you want. And being honest, I don't do any of those things. When I get home from work, I kind of just scroll reels and jerk off. That's just me. But if I wanted to do those things, then, I couldn't do it if I had a girlfriend, right? So that's why I can't get a girlfriend, because if I did want to do those things, then I couldn't, because I have a girlfriend. And I guess thinking about it from the other perspective, it might be nice to have someone who's like a companion that you can do activities with and who can introduce you to new things that you enjoy, so you don't have to do everything alone. But overall, I think that the pros of being single outweigh the cons on that reason too. So yeah, being single is still better. Okay. And the last point I have, which I think is really the most important to get across here, is that there's actually a lot of benefit to not having sex. Now I know, of course, evolutionarily speaking, our bodies are programmed to want to have sex all the time, every day. And being in a relationship, you get to do that. You get to have sex all the time, every day. And every one of my friends that's in a relationship says that it feels really good. And I'm sure that it does. I'm sure it feels really good. It feels really good, right? You're having sex every day. But being serious, I think there's a benefit to denying yourself those urges, right? Because if you have sex every day, you can't know what it's like to live without having sex. You're kind of just you kind of just need to have sex. Not that I don't need to, but that's because I'm single, right? Because my body has practiced not having sex for a long time, so I know now that I don't need it. And I think that's really good, is that I learned that I don't need sex, right? I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Yeah, I don't, that's the point. I don't need it. Yeah. Okay, that's the video. Goodbye.